G'day and welcome to another video. My name is Claire and I design the crochet patterns that you see here on Bob Wilson 123. In today's lesson we are going to make a wrap. This pattern can also be used to make a scarf or a blanket, but mine is going to be a wrap. We'll be creating mesh stitches, also V-stitches in various combinations, and puff stitches. I would rate this project as a easy plus pattern. You will need to know your basic stitches like chain stitches, single crochets and double crochets. The only one that you might need to practice a little bit is the puff stitch, but once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy to do. There is a free written pattern located on my website and I will put a link for you in the description box below. The yarn that we are using in this project was provided by Yarnspirations and it is a Red Heart brand. So a huge thank you for Yarnspirations for providing the yarn in this project. The first one that I did make with Fiberific and Fiber Lily yarn. I will put a link for you in the description box for their beautiful products. But in today's video, we are going to be using a Red Heart line, and I absolutely love the bright colors that we are going to use. So let's get started on the lesson. For the project that we're making in the video, I used 7 colours and I will put the names of the colours across the screen for you. They are Red Heart Super Saver yarn, and that is a worsted weight yarn. The original design that I used with Fiber Lily and Fiberific yarn, I used an 8-ply yarn, which is also a light worsted or a DK. So this pattern can be made in various thicknesses of yarns. All you need to do is change the amount of chains that we do at the beginning, and that is easy to do because I give you the multiples for this pattern. We are also going to need a 8mm crochet hook. This is also an L size crochet hook. You're going to need a pair of scissors and a yarn needle with a large eye for sewing in your ends. I want to grab our first colour. For me that is the bright yellow, and this project can be done with foundation double crochets, and we're going to do a multiple of 4 plus 1. So that means you make your foundation double crochets in groups of 4. When you have it the width that you want, you add 1 more to the end. When I use the DK or light worsted yarn or the 8-ply yarn, I did 161 chains, and when I'm using the worsted weight, I am going to use 101 foundation double crochets. You can change this if you want, as long as it's in a multiple of 4 plus 1. This is going to be the length of your wrap, so it'll be the longest section, and then we will complete the width. To start off, we're going to put our slip knot on our crochet hook. We're going to yarn over and we're going to chain 3. We're going to yarn over and go into the very first chain down here, and we're going to work our double crochet and our chain at the same time. We're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through. That creates the chain. We're going to hang on to the chain, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through 2 loops. The chain that we're hanging on to, this is where we can go into. Oops, sorry, we've got to wrap first. Wrap our yarn, go into the chain, make sure you get the 2 loops on the side there, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 1, that's your very first chain, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. If I'm going too fast for you, there is another video that shows you just how to do the foundation double crochet. So if you've never done it before, that's quite a good video because it shows you exactly where to go into the chain. So yarn over, go into the chain that we did before. Make sure you get 2 loops, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through that first loop, that creates our chain. I like to hang on to that, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. I'll show you one more time. The chain we're hanging on to, we're going to go in there, make sure you've gone through 2 loops, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through, make our chain, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and that's the foundation double crochet. Of course we need a lot more than this. This was just the start of it. Like I said, if you want to make yours bigger or even smaller, if you're going to make a scarf, you won't need as many stitches as what I've got on my wrap. So for a scarf you may want to only make it 12 inches wide, but for a wrap of course you're going to have it much wider, and for a blanket depending on what size you want. It may be bigger than a wrap or less stitches than a wrap, so it's completely up to you, as long as it's in multiples of 4. So what do we have here? We've got, this is always counted as our first stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is 1 repeat. You want to keep going and in groups of 4 until you have the number that you want. So I'm going to do that off screen, otherwise that's going to be completely boring. So pause the video and I'll meet you when we have all of our foundation double crochets ready. I have 100 foundation single crochets with my worsted weight yarn, and this is about my arm span, and I will put the measurements on the screen for you. For row 2 we keep our yarn attached and we work back in the other direction, and we're going to chain 1 and we're going to single crochet in the same stitch. The repeat across the row is chain 5, skip 3 stitches and single crochet in the next. So we're going to chain 5 stitches, we're going to skip 3, which is down here, so 1, 2, 3, and in the 4th stitch we're going to work a single crochet. Chain 5, skip 3 are down here, so 1, 2, 3. Into the next stitch we are going to work a single crochet, and that is our repeat all the way across the row. Skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and single crochet in the next. So you can see our chain 5 space there. So repeat this all the way across and I'll meet you when we're at the end of our row. Pause the video and I'll see you there. I am coming to the end of my row, and you can see here I've got 4 stitches left. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've done my chain 5. No, I haven't. I haven't done chain 3. Add 2 more in. So chain 5, and we're going to single crochet in the last stitch because we skipped 3, and the last stitch here is our, I think it's a chain 2 or so from the previous row. It might be, yeah, it's a chain 2. So we're going to single crochet into the top of that chain. For row 3 we want to turn our work around, and we're going to chain 5, and this counts as a double crochet and a chain 2. So we've got our chain 5 and we're going to single crochet into the next chain 5 space, which is here. So go straight into the space here where the chain 5 is, and we're going to single crochet. Tension's going a bit funny there, so we'll just fix that up. So it's single crochet, and we're going to chain 5, and we're going to single crochet in the next chain 5 space, and this is the repeat across our row. So we're going to go into the next chain 5 space and work a single crochet, and that's it. That's our repeat across this row. Easy, easy peasy. So continue all the way across. Pause the video and I'll see you when we're at the end. When we get to the end we have a single crochet into the chain 5 space, but now we're just going to chain 2. Remember how the first stitch was a chain 5 and it counted as a double crochet and a chain 2? Well, we want to mirror image on this end, so we've got a chain 2 and then we want to double crochet into the last stitch, and that is a single crochet from the previous row. So it's here. We're going to double crochet in that one. Row 4, we're going to turn our work around, and this section is a chain 3 and a single crochet section. If you print out or have the written pattern on your tablet or your iPad or anything, or on your phone, if you have that, it's a great reminder to tell you what to do. You're going to have this video to show you what to do, but I'm not going to do all of the repeats because there's 2 or 3 repeats, and honestly that would make about a 4-hour video tutorial. Ain't nobody got time for that. And it's got a cheat sheet, so it's really good. So you will need the written pattern for this project. Row 4 is chain 1. This does not count as a stitch, and we're going to single crochet in the same stitch. So single crochet into there. We're going to skip the chain 2 space, which is just this little bit here, and we're going to chain 3 and single crochet into the next chain 5 space. So we're going to skip this chain 2, we're going to come over here and we're going to single crochet into there. So this is like the row below, except we're doing chain 3 instead of chain 5. So 1, 2 and 3 into the next chain 5 space. We are going to work a single crochet. My yarn is stuck around a pencil. Really? Chain 3 and single crochet in the next chain 5 space. Chain 3 see how it's sort of moved over to the side of the chain 5 space. It'll all sort of even out when we block it or when you've washed it or wear it, so don't worry about that. Single crochet in the chain 5 space. So that is our repeat across this row. Chain 3, single crochet in the chain 5 space. Repeat this all the way across and I'll meet you when we are at the end. So pause the video and I'll see you there. When we get to the end of our row, we are going to single crochet into the 3rd chain of the chain 5 from the previous row. So you can see I've come along there, done chain 3, single crochet, chain 3, and we're going to single crochet in the 3rd chain of this section here, because remember we did a chain 5 and the first 3 counted as a double crochet and then there was a chain 2. So if we double crochet into the 3rd chain, the leftover chains is the chain 2 space, because we're mirror imaging at the end of each row. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to try and get under 2 loops, which, because it's quite a loose tension, it's going to be reasonably easy. Then work a single crochet. There we go. And here is a chain 2 space. Not that we're going to work into it at all, but it just mirror images what we've done. So now we are going to work on row 5, and it says change to colour B. So we're finished with this yellow, or your colour A, whichever, if you're using a different colour, it's your colour A. And we are going to cut off our yarn. If you want to add tassels, you are going to look at your yarn and think, how long do I want my tassels? And you could maybe use your crochet hook. So you want to just pull that snug, pull your crochet hook out. You could use that to measure it, or you could get a tape measure, which for me is not in front of me. But you could use that to measure it. If you had a phone, you could put a phone there and use that to measure it. Anything you like. You could use maybe your hand, anything to measure it. Because if you're using a tassel for your edging, you want all the strands to be the same. Because if you're going to use the tassel, you want all your yarn strands to be the same length. So I am actually using this pattern and I'm going to make a tassel, so snip that off. So we're going to add our new colour, but what we want to do is, I've just totally forgot, we need to just pull that last loop out so that we've got 2 loops. Basically it's a single crochet before you yarn over and finish it off. So we're going to grab colour B, which for me is my cool orange colour, and this is the pumpkin. And when we add our yarn to our new colour, if you've got a bit like that, that's where I've just broken it with my hands rather than cut it. Chop that off because you don't want that yucky bit on the end. So when we're joining our yarn, just want to lay it down approximately the same size as that tassel, because as we go along we want to make it the same size. So about there. I'm going to pick it up and put it on your crochet hook and pull through. Now you can just double check. Oh, see that? It's like way too short. We can easily fix that. We're just going to pull on the end and it'll pull it through. Like I said, you can always trim them up so they're the exact same size. Row 5 is chain 3. You could definitely work this project all in the same colour. I think that would actually be really pretty. You wouldn't have all these ends to sew in or make into tassels. And we're going to turn our work. You can turn your work first, then do your chain 3. Doesn't matter. It's up to you. It does look slightly different because now I'm looking at the back of the chain, where if you do it the other way, I think you look at the front of the chain. I'm just doing this because I have no idea if that's correct. Nope. To me it, oh no, yeah, okay. And we're going to work, so I pull that yarn down, so I need chain 3 because I've just, one of mine's just disappeared, so I'll add another one in. Into the next space, we're going to work 3 double crochet. So the pattern repeat across here is 4 double crochets. And our chain 3 just counted as our first one, so now we just want to add 3 into there. Into the next chain 3 space, so the one that's going across, we are going to work 4 double crochet. My yarn keeps getting stuck. I need a little automatic yarn feeder that does not get stuck. So it's 4 double crochet into that chain 3 space. So go along to your next one. Oops. And work your 4 double crochet. Oh no, it's getting stuck on my ring on my hand. That's what it's doing. On the sparkly one. I'm going to turn it around. Yeah, it's on that side. It shouldn't do it. My hands are warm today, so my rings haven't turned around. Normally if it's cold day, that ring's turned around to the back. But it's warm today, so it should be right. Yeah, that's not getting stuck anymore. There you go. Okay, so that's the repeat for this row. It is 4 double crochet into every chain 3 space. Work your way across and I'll meet you at the end. So pause the video and I'll see you when we are there. When we get to the end of row 5, we are going to do 3 double crochet in that last chain space and 1 double crochet into the top of the last stitch of the previous row. So it's into there for a double crochet. We are now going to change to colour C, and for me that is the red. So again we're going to lay our, oh, we don't have any tassels on this end, so mine was about the same size as my crochet hook. I think, let me double check, because we don't want uneven tassels. No, it was way longer than that. So I'm going to grab one of the ends and bring it over here. We're going to cut that off. And because it's the last stitch of the row, we're just going to pull that last loop out so we can join our new colour in. And all that was is, if we were going to finish off our stitch, we would yarn over and pull through 2. So it's just that step before that. You can see the end of my yarn is yucky. It's because I don't cut it, I just break it with my hands. So I shouldn't do that because you do waste yarn. So now we want to join our... You're only doing this, of course, if you're doing tassels. If you're not, you can make your ends much shorter. So we're going to join that in. Just double check our ends. No, my red one's way too short. Okay, there we go. We are on our mesh section again, and this is row 6, and we've changed to colour C, which is, for me, my orange. What colours are you using? I would love to know in the comments below. We're going to chain 1, and we're going to single crochet in the same stitch. But first we want to turn our work, don't we? I'm concentrating on reading the pattern. And we're going to single crochet in the same... We're going to chain 5, and we are going to work a single crochet into the space between the 4 DC group from the row below. So looking at our row below, which for me is the orange row here, into this space here, so these spaces between our groups of 4 is where we're going to single crochet. And we're going to chain 5. So this is like our chain 5 mesh section that we did before, except where we're putting our single crochets in a slightly different spot. So we're going to go across and go to our next, just spread those out a bit, go to our next space, and that's there. For a single crochet, we're going to chain 5, and then into the next space between the 2 groups of 4 double crochets, which are here. That space here, we're going to work a single crochet. And 5. And single crochet into the space. One thing I do not like about this hook is it is very slippery. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And single crochet into that space. So this is the repeat for this row. Repeat this across, doing a chain 5 and a single crochet between the groups of 4. Pause the video and I will meet you at the end. When we get to the end, we are going to single crochet into the top of the chain 3. So 1, 2, 3 into the top there. We're going to single crochet. I like to get under both loops if I can. Sometimes I cannot. Generally with loose tension like this though, it's quite easy. As I fumble around with it. There we go, single crochet. And for row 7 it says repeat 3, and this is the mesh section. So we're just doing the mesh, that's a mouthful. The mesh section again. So repeat row 3. So are you ticking off your pattern as you go on the cheat sheet? I will be after I finish this tutorial. So for row 3, it is a chain 5, counts as our double crochet and our chain 2. And we're going to single crochet into the next chain 5 space. So it's right here. So So work a single crochet, and we're going to chain 5. Once you get into this pattern, it is really easy to remember because it's only the sort of the start and the start of the row and the end of the row that you have to pay attention. And yes, I did have to keep looking. I think even right until I'd finished this pattern, I do have to have a quick look at the pattern to see what I'm doing at the beginning, and then I'm right. And then also when I get to the end of the row, I have to have another look again. So it's a chain 5, so that's 2, 3, 4 and 5. And we're going to single crochet in the next chain space. So that is the repeat across the row. Continue across. I'll meet you when we're at the end. Pause the video and I'll see you there. When we get to the end, we are going to work a single crochet into the last chain 5 space. We're going to chain 2, and we're going to double crochet into the single crochet of the previous row. For row 8, it says repeat row 4. So we're going to turn our work around. What does row 4 have in store for us? It is a chain 1, doesn't count as a stitch, and single crochet in the same stitch. We can do that, can't we? So chain 1, single crochet in the same stitch. Skip the chain 2 space, which is just here, and we're going to chain 3 and single crochet into the next chain 5 space, which is here. And we're going to chain 3 and single crochet into the next chain 5 space. Chain 3. Did I mention this hook slippery? It's really annoying. 1, 2, 3. Because it's loose tension, it's got nothing to grab onto. Single crochet in the next chain 5 space. Chain 3. Single crochet in the next chain 5 space. And we're going to repeat this all the way across. So pause the video and I'll see you when we're at the end of the row. At the end of row 8, we're going to single crochet into the 3rd chain of the chain 5 from the previous row. So 1, 2, 3, hang on, that's not right, 1, 2, 3, and then we'll have 2 left over. We want to single crochet into that one. For row 9, it says to repeat row 5, and we changed to colour D, so we do need to finish this off, and we're going to finish it off at the same length as one of our tassels. So for me, colour D is the pink, and we just want to pull out the last 2 loops. Maybe one day I'll remember just to keep those 2 loops on there, but I'm not promising nothing. So we're going to make it as long as we need it for our tassel, if that's what you're doing, and we're going to join that in there. We're going to turn our work around, and row 9 is a repeat of row 5, and we've changed to our colour. But it says change to colour D. Don't repeat what it says in row 5 where it says change to colour B. Otherwise you're going to have the wrong colour. We're going to chain 3. And you've already done this before, so you'll recognise it. And 3 double crochet into the chain space. And this is a chain 3 space. So we're going to work 3 double crochet into there. So that counts as our 4 double crochets. Into the next chain 3 space is 4 double crochets. I might have to take these rings off for this project. I don't normally have the problem. Don't know what's going on. So we did 4 altogether. Into the next chain 3 space, that's this one. It's the chains that are going horizontal, not these ones here that look like a V. So it's 4 into that space. I just took my rings off. That is so much better. It's not getting stuck at all. Probably because it's so hot here today as well. It is currently 38 degrees outside. And if you're American, you're probably thinking, well, that sounds freezing cold to me. That's Celsius, not Fahrenheit. I think it is about, I think it's around 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, it's a tad warm. Into the next chain 3 space, we're going to work 4 double crochets. And we're going to repeat this all the way across until we get to the end. Oops. Oh, goodness me. And make sure you're doing 4. On one of mine, on one of my orange sections, I noticed there's 5 stitches. Oh, there it is there. There's 5 stitches. I was not going to pull that out. I am totally leaving that there. So pause the video and I'll see you at the end. Once we come to the end of row 9, we are going to work 3 double crochet in our last chain 5 space. And then we're going to double crochet into the top of the last stitch, which is the single crochet from the row below. So we have 3 in the last space and then 1 into the last stitch. Now I have been marking off my pattern. You won't know in the tutorial because you can't tell, but it's been an hour and a half since I did my pattern and I had no idea where I was up to. So it is a good idea to print off this cheat sheet. And I've just done row 9, I've already ticked it off. Row 10 is our V-stitch section. And we're going to change colour. So we're going to put those last 2 loops back on our crochet hook. And we're going to cut our yarn. Making sure we've got enough for our tassels. So the next colour for me is purple. I'm not sure on this colour. I don't have a yarn tag. If I find out what colour it is, I will put it across the screen for you. I want to go with amethyst, but I'm not sure. It's a very bright purple anyway. Row 10 is our V-stitch section and we're going to change to colour E, which for me is this beautiful purple. And we're going to chain 3. So we just want to join that in. Again, if you're making the tassel, make sure you've got enough yarn. We're going to turn our project around and chain 3. So I chain 4 because that very first chain there, which is here, just I pull down and it disappears. So it's a chain 3. And the V-stitch is a double crochet, chain 2, double crochet into the space between the 2nd and 3rd stitch of the group of 4. So looking down here, let's just move this end out of the way. Looking down here, we have a group of 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and then the end one. We want to find the space between the 2nd and 3rd stitch. So 1, 2, 3. So the space between them, which is there, is where we want to crochet into. And we're going to go into that space, double crochet, chain 2 and double crochet all in the same space. And we're going to repeat this across. So skipping this space, go to the group of 4. We want to go between the second and the third. So 1, 2, 3, and it's the space in there. So you've got your space and you'll have 2 stitches either side. So that's where you want to go into. So double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet all in the same space between that second and third stitch. So I'll show you once again. Working across, ignoring this space here and finding your group of 4. Second stitch, 1, 2, and that's 3, and it's the space in there. And it's a double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet. So repeat this all the way across, and I will meet you when we're at the end of the row. Pause the video and I'll see you there. I'm coming up to the end of the row and I want to do my double crochet and chain 2, and you'll see that you've got the 4 stitches there because this chain 3 counts as a stitch, so you just want to go between the 2 there and then the 2 there for your V-stitch. And then we're going to double crochet into the top of the chain 3. So we have 1, 2, 3, and a double crochet in there, and we want to make sure we go under 2 loops. And we change colour on the next row, so look, I've remembered, we're going to leave those 2 loops on there. Cut our yarn to length if you're doing your tassels. Joining in my new colour, just making sure I've got enough for my tassels. Pop that on there. And we're going to turn our work around. Row 11 is a 4 double crochet section, and it says on the pattern, note that this row is different to row 5. The stitches that we're doing are the same, but it's where we're placing them is different. So we're going to start with a chain 3 and 3 double crochet into the chain 2 space, which is here. Four double crochet into the next chain 2 space. So our chain 2 spaces are these gaps that we have here. We're going to work 4 double crochet into those. So we have 4 double crochet, and we're going to repeat this all the way across. So into the next chain 2 space, work 4 double crochets. So repeat this across and I'll meet you at the end. Pause the video and I'll see you there. So into our last space we work 3 double crochet, and our 4th one goes into the top of the chain 3. And we're going to change colour, so we want to leave that on there. Grab our yarn, just leave enough for your tassel. And we are going to repeat row 10, and that is our V-stitch section. So we are going to turn our work around. Got all these threads everywhere now. chain 3, and work a double crochet, chain 2 double crochet into the space between the second and third stitch of the 4 stitches of the previous group of 4 double crochets. So that's there. So it's the first stitch, second and third, so it's in here. You've already done this on the previous row, so it's just a repeat of, not previous row, 2 rows ago. So you should know what to do. Let's check. Whoa, camera, what are you doing? Stop focusing on those. And then double crochet in the same spot. Sorry about that. It was double crochet, chain 2, double crochet in the same one. Again, moving across into the second and third space. Chain 2 and double crochet in there. And we're going to repeat this all the way across, and I'll meet you when we're at the other end. Pause video and I'll see you there. At the end of row 12, we are going to double crochet into the top of the chain 3, which is just there. And we're going to change colour, so we're leaving those 2 loops on. Cut your yarn, leaving enough if you're making a tassel, and join the previous colour in, which for me was the blue. And we're going to turn our work. Row 13 is a repeat of row 11, and that is the 4 double crochets that we did in the blue section here. And so that's a repeat of row 11, which is chain 3. You could probably look down at your work if you can read your crochet. I could probably do that, but I'm just reading the pattern so that I don't miss anything. 4 double crochet into the chain 2 space, which is here. So yarn over, go into the chain 2 space, and we're going to work 4 double crochet. Into the next chain 2 space, we're going to work 4 double crochet, and this is the repeat for across the row. We've already done this row before, so we should be experts at it. That's 3 and 4. So pause the video and I'll meet you when we are at the end of the row. When we come to the end, we do 3 double crochet in that space and then 1 double crochet in the end. I think I've accidentally told you to do 4 in the very first space that we did on this row. If that's the case, there would have been a correction across the screen. I've read the pattern wrong at the start. Not to worry, that happens. And honestly, no one's going to really notice, but it's just because this is a tutorial that you're going to repeat that same mistake if I don't tell you not to do it. So that's 3 in the end and then 1 in the top of the chain 3. Whoops, we're going to change colour, so pop those loops back on our hook. And we're going to change back to the purple. Just going to pop that on our crochet hook. I'm literally just looping it over, like I'm not doing anything special. I'm just grabbing it like that and putting it on my hook. It just may look a bit different to what I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. We're going to turn our work around. This does not do this when I'm sitting down and crocheting. It's just because it's all flat and at a different angle to how I would normally crochet. So we just did our 4 double crochets, so that means the next section is number 14, so row 14, and that's a repeat of 10, so that's the V-stitch section. You may already know what to do, but I am just repeating these on camera because if you're just following the video, you may get a little confused. So it's the V-stitch section starts with a chain 3, so 1, whoops, 2 and 3, and it's a double crochet, chain 2, double crochet for a V-stitch, and that goes between the second and third stitch on the row below. But you already knew that, didn't you? Like I said, I am just showing you because if you're just using this tutorial, you're going to have to keep rewinding it to if you're just not quite remembering what to do at the beginning and in the end. That's where I get stuck. The middle bit's alright. It's that first bit and the last bit that I have to remember. So again, going across, working in the second and third, between the second and third stitch. And this is our repeat for across the row. So continue on and I'll meet you when we're at the end of row 14. We have our last V-stitch in there, and then we're going to double crochet into the top of the chain 3. Putting both loops on our crochet hook. And we're going to change colour because we need to do one more row of the 4 DCs. So I'm changing back to my blue. Cut off your yarn, enough for your tassels. Attach, it's not even a word. Attach your new colour. And turn your work around. Row 15 is chain 3. And 3 double crochets into our chain 2 space. And my yarn is getting stuck already. So 3 into that chain 2 space, into our next chain 2 space, 4 DCs. It's quite an easy pattern. Of course, once you've learnt how to do those rows, it is just a repeat. Why, camera, why are you not focusing? There we go. So 4 DCs or double crochets into each chain 2 space across, and I'll meet you when we're at the end. Pause the video and I'll see you there. We are at the end of row 15, and I've just realised I've done one too many stitches. We have 3 in our last chain 2 space, and we're going to do 1 double crochet into the top of the chain 3. Trying to get that second loop. We're going to change colour, so we are going to leave our loops on the crochet hook, cut your yarn, and we get to add a new colour. How exciting! That was a very high-pitched voice. I guess I'm very excited. So for me it is a green, and I'm just going to leave enough for my tassel and join my yarn. And we're going to turn our work around. It is seriously like crochet gymnastics in front of this camera. Row 16 is our puff stitch. I cannot say stitch section together. Our puff stitch section, and we're going to chain 5. Just need to attach my yarn. Chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and we're going to work a puff stitch into the space between the 4 double crochet groups from the previous row. So you can see 4 stitches there, and there's 4 stitches there. I'm going to work our puff stitch in that space there. So we yarn over, we go into the stitch, we pull up a loop, yarn over, go into the stitch, pull up a loop. It's the second time. Yarn over, go into the stitch, pull up a loop for the third time, yarn over, go into the stitch, pull up a loop for the fourth time, and yarn over, go into the stitch, pull up a loop for the 5th time. We're going to yarn over, we're going to pull through all of the stitches without getting stuck. Let's try that again. It becomes quite a quick motion, so you just got to go into the space 5 times. So yarn over, go in, pull up a loop for 1, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop for 2, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop for 3, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop for 4, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop for 5. So turn your hook facing down. This should work. Go, go, go. You can do it. Nope, I keep getting that second loop stuck. Where is that coming from? Alright, so we've done our puff stitch and now we're going to chain 3. I'm making this look so much harder than it is. 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to work a puff stitch into the next space. So yarn over, go in, pull up a loop for 1, and see how I'll just do that in slow motion in case you didn't get that. Yarn over, go in, and when I pull up this loop, I'm pulling the crochet hook that way. So yarn up, yarn over, pull up a loop. I'm not leaving it like that, I'm pulling so it brings up loops. So that's once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and 5 times. So that's better. You're not supposed to get stuck on anything. Chain 3. Go to the next space between our groups of 4, so it's here. Yarn over in the next space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just pulled down on the chain there so that loop, because this loop can turn around up like that, so just make sure it's down. Just because you're wiggling your crochet hook so much. And chain 3. And we're going to repeat this all the way across. It's looking very cool. I'm loving these puff stitches. So repeat that all the way across. Pause video and I'll see when we're at the other end. At the end of row 16, we want to double crochet into the top of the chain 3. So 1, 2, hang on, where is it? Here. I'm going to work a double crochet. We're going to leave the 2 loops on our crochet hook because I think we're going to change colours. And we're going to cut our yarn off for our tassels. And we're going to go back to colour A, which is the yellow. It's so pretty. And we're going to turn our work around. Row 17 is a 4 double crochet section, but it's slightly different from the other ones that we did because now we are working into a puff stitch row instead of whatever it was before. So it might have been a fees stitch or a mesh down there. So this time we're working into the puff stitch, so it's slightly different, but it's still doing the 4 double crochets. So we're going to chain 3. I just need to attach my yarn, so chain 3. And we're going to work 4 double and we're going to work 3 double crochet into this space just here. So altogether we've got 4 stitches. The first chain's the first 1, 2, 3, 4. And into the next chain 3 space, which is here, so between our puff stitches, we're working our 4 double crochets. So it's still the 4 double crochet groups, and like I said, it's just in a different spot than what we've previously done. So nothing hard here, apart from me trying to do a double crochet. I think it's the angle I'm sitting on, because when I'm sitting, I've been working this one at the kitchen bench, not a problem. Sit down and film, stitches flying everywhere. So there we go. So 4 stitches, 4 double crochets into each chain 3 space, which is the space between our puff stitches. So repeat this to the end of the row and I'll show you what to do. Pause the video and I'll see you there. We're coming up to the end of row 17 and we want to do 3 double crochet in our last space here, which is a chain 5 space from the previous row. And our 4th double crochet goes into our 3rd chain from the previous row. So 1, 2 and 3. So double crochet in there. I like to get both loops. So this loop here and that loop there. So you've got 4 stitches in that last one. And now is row 18. And we are going to change colour, and my next colour is orange. I am loving this rainbow. Are you a rainbow fan or are you a bit more subtle? So just cut off your yarn and grab your next colour. I just love how the bright colours really pop and stand out. It's funny, I usually just would use it for accessories. I've got rainbow socks, but that's probably about it. I don't really have any bright coloured. I'm normally in jeans, and black and grey is my go-to colour. So yeah, it's usually accessories that are bright, which is all good. So row 18, turn our work around. So I'm just flipping that over. And we want to chain 1. This is the start of a mesh section again. And we're going to chain 1. I just need to do that to secure that in. So chain 1 and single crochet into that same stitch just there. We're going to chain 5 and single crochet in the space between the groups of 4. So we've got our 4 here and our 4 here, that space there. We're going to work a single crochet. Chain 5. My crochet hook looks red. It's not, it's orange. And we're going to single crochet in the next space between the groups of 4. Chain 5. And single crochet. Hang on, my crochet's all getting stuck under itself. So the next space between our groups of 4, we're going to work a single crochet. And we're going to repeat this all the way across, making our chain 5 single crochet in the space between the 4. Repeat this across, pause the video, and I'll see you at the end of the row. When we come to the end of row 18, we are going to single crochet into the top of the chain 3. So this is our last stitch here. So sometimes I don't even bother counting. I just look for the double crochet stitch, which is here. And we know this next section is a chain 3. And this bit here is the top of the chain 3 because it's next to the double crochet stitch. We're going to work a single crochet. So that's the end of our repeat finally, 18 rows later. But the repeat is going to be from row 3 to row 18. And then we just keep repeating rows 3 through to 18. And when we want to finish on row 9, and that makes it look nice and even on both ends. You could really finish this pattern anywhere you like. If you run out of yarn, finish it there. It doesn't really matter. You can create whatever look that you like. But just for mine, I do finish on row 9. So I won't be showing you how to do row 3 through to 18 again, because basically I've already filmed that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a timestamp on the screen, and that is going to tell you where to, if you're just using the video, where to rewind to start the repeat again. So it will take you back to the start of row 3, and then you will continue on. It may not have the same colour. I'm not quite sure. It may not have the same colour in the yarn, but the instructions for the row is going to be the same as what you'll need to do for row 3. If you're following the written pattern, it's got all the instructions there. I would suggest having a look at the written pattern if you don't know how to read them. This pattern is not hard, and you've just practiced everything via the video tutorial. And don't be scared, if you can't get it the first time, it doesn't matter, just try again on something else. This is an easy pattern to crochet, so hopefully the written pattern will help you. And if you get stuck on the written pattern, you've got the video tutorial to help you as well. I will see you when we are at the end of all of our repeats, so that's up to you when you stop, and we'll show you what to do next. Happy crocheting!